Okay, guys and girls, so for today's lesson, it's vocabulary day. As you know, we're in the middle of Anne Frank, the Diary of a Young Girl. So the vocabulary today is going to be I took them from pages 140 to 160. Okay, so the goal for the day before we get started is determining the meanings of unknown words. And you're going to be doing that by using a couple different strategies. Some of those strategies are going to be your choice. So let me pass these out. We'll go over it together. How's everyone's weekend? Good? Yeah, good? Okay. All right, so let's take a look here. What we're going to be doing. Directions. Sort these words into columns. So that's the first thing you're going to be doing. And you're going to be doing that in your literature circle groups, okay? The groups that we've been using throughout this novel. You all know those groups, right? Yeah, good. Okay, you guys all remember that. And what you're going to do in your groups is you're going to sort these words into your three columns. The columns are going to be words I know, words I am familiar with, and then words I don't know. Okay? If you are familiar with them, that means you've seen them before, you've seen them in books or magazines or on TV, you kind of know what it is, but maybe you're not for sure. All right? And then words you don't know, obviously those are just words you've never seen before, never heard of them before, have no clue. Okay? Any questions so far? Are we good? Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at our words here. The first word, you can find it on page 140, so I do give you the page numbers. It's the word seize. And if you hear a word and if you've at least recognized it, raise your hand. Okay? Anybody seen the word seize before? Okay, good. The second word you're going to be using is on page 143, and it's the word delve. Anyone ever seen that one before? Okay. So you're going to be using your context clues to find these meanings here soon. The third word today is industrious. Anyone ever seen that word before? Anyone ever heard the word industry before? Industry's in there. Okay. Fourth word is worldly. That's on page 144. Anybody? Good. Fifth word is shortcomings. Sixth word is witticisms. Anybody ever heard the word witty? Has anyone ever told you you're witty? No? Okay. Number 7 is blunders. That's on page 145. Number 8 is impudent, which is on page 146. Number 9 is restraining, which is on page 152. Number 10 is muddle, which is on page 153. Number 11 is shortcomings, which is on page 155. Number 12 is fleeting, which is on page 157. 13 is wretched. Have we heard that word before? That's a pretty good one. Wretched is on page 157. 14 is bliss, which is on page 159. And 15 is compensation, which is also on page 159. Okay? So to start the day today, what you're going to be doing with your list of words, the first thing is, like I said, you're going to be getting into your literature circle groups, okay, the groups that we've been using while we've been reading this book, and you're going to go ahead and split those words up into words you know, words you recognize, and then words you don't know. All right? Now, once you're all finished with that, we're going to come back together again. We're going to go over those definitions that you guys and girls determined, came up with together. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of give you the definitions that I want everybody to be agreed upon, so that way we're all using the same definitions. Okay, so we'll be getting the Diary of Anne Frank books here in just one second. Now, what you're going to be doing with these once we have our definitions, go ahead and turn the page. This is where you get to choose. So this is your options. These are your options. So once we've already determined what definitions we want to use for the week, okay, you're going to choose one of these options that you see on this sheet. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, the directions. Colt, go ahead and read the directions for us.
With the agreed upon definitions from this week's list, complete one of the following options.
Okay, so with the list that you're going to figure out with your group, you're going to pick one of these groups to do, or one of these options to do. All right. Now, some of these options you can do on your own, so you can do them independently. If you want to do them in small groups, if you want to do them in your literature circle groups, you'd be able to. Some of them are going to require groups, so if you don't want to do group work today, you're probably not going to want to pick some of these options. Okay? Let's take a look at option number 1. Option 1 is to illustrate. So for those of you that are a little bit more artistically inclined, if you like to draw, you like to color, maybe to paint, make a collage, something along those lines, this might be up your alley. Let's go ahead and take a look. Create a small illustration for each of your vocabulary words. They could be drawn, painted, put into small comic strips, etc. Be creative. Any questions about that one? Who thinks they'd be interested in that one? No one? No one wants to draw today? Okay. How about option 2, crossword? Charlene, go ahead and read crossword for us.
Partner up with a fellow student and create 2 unique crossword puzzles with your vocabulary words. Then exchange your puzzles with your partner and solve.
Okay, good. So for that one, obviously, you're going to have to work in at least small groups, okay? Option 3, flashcards. Isaiah, can you read that for us?
With a partner or a small group, create flashcards with your vocabulary words and quiz another. See who can finish the fastest.
Okay, good. So for this option, option 3, you're making flashcards out of your definitions, and you could do this in pairs or maybe in a smaller group, and then you're going to kind of quiz each other. You're going to go through the flashcards and see who can get through them the fastest. Okay? Now you will need your flashcards for that, all right? And you will need obviously a partner or a small group. Option 4, in the news. Caleb, go ahead and read that one for us.
Try finding your vocabulary words in another source other than your book. These may include newspapers, magazines, movies, TV shows, other books, songs, websites, etc. Bring in the examples if you can, then explain how the context that the word is being used is similar or different in our novels.
Good. So for this option, you have a little bit of freedom. This is obviously you're going to have to be pulling things from outside of the classroom. You're going to try to find your vocabulary words being used somewhere else. So that could be maybe if you see it on a TV show or on the news one day. If you see it in the newspaper, if you see it in a magazine, if you hear it on a song, you could probably bring it in on your iPod or your iPhone or your MP3 player, and then you could play it for the class and then identify the word. But what you'll have to do then with that is explain to us the context, okay? Is it similar to how it's being used in our book, The Diary of Anne Frank, or is it a little bit different? Because as you know, a lot of words in the English language can be used in different ways, okay? It all depends on the context. And then option 5, write your own. This is your last option for the day. Use your vocabulary words in a short story, a poem, a song, or some other form of writing. Be sure to use each word correctly. So for this option, what you would do is you would take your vocabulary words and you could put them, like it says, into a short story. You could put it into a song. If you are feeling poetic today, you could write a little poem for us with them. Just make sure you are using the words correctly. And if you're not too sure, you can see me or you can ask some of your group mates. All right? Now, if any of you have any other ideas or any other options that you would like to use or maybe use, you can always ask me about those, and then we can discuss it and see if maybe that'd be a viable option. Okay? Any questions? Okay, we'll go ahead and get our books and get started.